I really received a gift from heaven. Phyllis came to our school at the age of 7. We both were in the 2nd grade, and then I thought I had it made. I started planning for the rest of my life, hoping she would become my wife. Ted was 7 years old when he met her, and that was her age as well. They only lived a few townships apart, but when you are 7 years old, you just don't get around much. So it was 2nd grade where Edward, Ted Dosdall, met the love of his life, Phyllis Elaine Brandt. This was to be the only girl he ever dated and the only girl he ever loved. They were perfect for each other. Enjoying many of the same interests, they worked hard and looked for adventure. Their life together spanned over 79 years. 62 of those years, they were married. Rarely do interests of married couples duplicate each other as well as in this couple. Part of the adventuring they enjoyed together was hunting and fishing. They traveled to many places and observed and captured many species. Soon they had such a variety of specimens. They decided to add on a trophy room to their family farm home. This unique Stevens County space soon drew visitors and sometimes tour groups who marveled at the personal Natural History Museum right in the center of Hodges Township. Hodges Township near Hancock, Minnesota, was pretty much the only place Ted called home his entire life. He was born on July 25, 1915, to Henry and Grace Lynch Dosdall. Henry and Grace had been the owners of a farm for more than a decade. In 1898, Christoph and Augusta Dosdall had purchased the farm and farmed for a couple of years before selling to Henry and Grace. Ted was the 4th-born Dosdall and 3rd-born son. One more son was born after him. Henry, George, Edith, Edward, Ted, and Glenn completed the family. Ted's recollections of early childhood were of the hard work that farming required in those days. When he was 4, the family built a new farm home, and even that brought memories of cedar shingles being dipped into green paint for preservation. There were many chores to do, and as he grew older, he became part of that work. Every day they got up at 4:45 a.m. His job was to care for 24 horses. The Dosdalls had cattle, pigs, and horses for major livestock. Only a few homesteads away, Phyllis Elaine Brandt was born to Ragna Olson and Henry Brandt. Their farm was in Framnes Township and nestled into the pond and woodland geography. These woods became a favorite hunting place for Ted once he became a part of the Brandt family. Phyllis's family included 3 children. She was the oldest, then Marjorie, and little brother Ray. The Brandt farm had one of the only round dairy barns in Stevens County. It stood through several generations of the Brandt family, becoming a visual landmark from Highway 28. The two worlds of Ted and Phyllis collided when they found themselves side by side in 2nd grade at the Cyrus Public School. Both graduated from 8th grade. Ted's plans were to continue school and become an engineer, but life had a different plan for him. His father had diabetes and could not manage the farm by himself with that condition. So Ted's plans changed, and he became a full-time farmer. His dreams of high achievement did not end with that cancellation of advanced education. He continued to learn through his entire life and sought other means of satisfying his achievement goals. Many young people in that era gained critical skills and learning in the youth club called 4-H. Members could select project work that they personally wished to pursue. Ted's pursuit included hoping for a state fair win with his beef project, a Hereford steer. Present-day 4-H'ers may think it quite a task to manage leading a large steer around the show ring. Ted and his neighbors took turns herding their cattle into the Stevens County Fairgrounds over 11 miles before the show, just like a good old-fashioned cattle drive. The county fair judge critiqued Ted's steer as too fat. He thought his state fair dreams were over, but wait, he did have his poultry project. The judge in that arena picked Ted's chickens as the winning pen, and off to the Minnesota State Fair he went, where he won the purple ribbon. On June 1st, 1939, after 17 years of knowing it would happen, Phyllis and Ted said yes to a life together. They married in the Scandia Free Church in Framnes Township. This was the Brandt family church and is the oldest church in Stevens County. 62 years later, Ted sang at his granddaughter Stacy's wedding in the same church. The church in 2001 had been officially closed since 1969, but the congregation continued to have special and annual events at the site. His entire life, singing solos and in groups with Phyllis, often his accompanist. Ted and Phyllis and their children attended the Scandia Free Church from the time they married until it closed in 1969. They then joined Our Redeemer's Lutheran in Hancock for more than 20 years. Their final church membership was at First Lutheran in Morris. Following that beautiful June wedding in 1939, the Dosdall set off for an exciting honeymoon trip to the World's Fair in California. The adventuring had begun. The honeymoon was a 13-day trip in Ted's newly purchased Chevrolet Master Deluxe automobile. It cost him $648. The 13-day trip, cross-country, racked up a total cost of $99. They returned to the Dosdall family farm to live a life together. 4 children were born to the couple. Firstborn David arrived in April of 1940, Daniel in June of 1941, John in September of 1943, and Carol in December of 1945. The children, along with Ted and Phyllis, lived a typical life on a diversified farm. The daily schedule was all about livestock care and crop seasons. They were all involved in 4-H. Ted and Phyllis were active 4-H parents and club leaders. Raising the farm products and 4 children consumed most of those early years together. In 1973, a tornado hit the farm with destruction, especially to the barn and the historic grove of trees. Achievers and individuals who live by the principle of "you are no better than your word" soon find themselves in leadership roles. The early roles in 4-H and church soon became township and county leadership. Ted ran for county commissioner, won, and retained his seat on the Stevens County Board for 20 years, becoming the chairman. He was the county ag inspector for 19 years. In that role, the inspector gives tests for spraying, takes seed samples, and controls weeds throughout the county, reporting to the county board. Some of the organizations where he found fellowship and common interests included the Lions Club and Pheasants Forever. The Lions organization is the largest service club organization in the world, numbering over 1.35 million members. When Lions Club members get together, problems get smaller and communities get better. Ted was a lifetime member of the Lions and was given their highest award, the Melvin Jones Award, after the founder of the organization. In Pheasants Forever, Ted's personal interest in hunting and keeping habitat for that purpose fit the club's mission perfectly. He was given the Ernest Strube Award. Ernest was a Stevens County wildlife artist and conservationist of great repute. In memory of his work, this award is one of the Pheasants Forever lasting legacies. Once the family was raised, personal time was freed for the couple to do some adventuring once again. The close-to-home hunting and fishing trips now became trips to other hunting grounds. On one trip to Alaska, Ted felled a moose that was listed on the Boone and Crockett Book of World Records. Along with other amazing catches and hunts, a vision of the trophy room became a plan. Ted also discovered a real talent for carving figures and focused largely on Norwegian carving. He enjoyed and explored this sharing of culture through the Sons of Norway. The building of over 30 grandfather clocks became a gift outside the family members, to organizations and others who wished to learn the skills. One clock was built and donated to the Stevens County Historical Museum for the Building Fund. This raffle was won by Don Quackenbush and generated funds that helped in the addition and restoration of that historic building in Stevens County. In 1998, the farm that Ted was born on, grew up on, and spent his married and family life on, became a Century Farm. Century Farm's status is collected by the local Farm Bureau, and recognition is an annual event at the Minnesota State Fair. For 100 years, a member of the Dosdall family had owned and been actively farming the land. In this year, Ted himself had been a part of it for 83 years. The family had a celebration with many of the extended family attending. Ted continued to write poetically, from time to time, of his love for Phyllis. For her 80th birthday, he continued the poem about their meeting in second grade. Of course you played it oh so cool, all those years we went to school. You sat close, so it was handy to keep you supplied with gum and candy. And then you made me happy for life when you promised to become my wife. And so it goes through joy and tears. We stayed together all those years. This couple for life, Ted and Phyllis, knew how to work hard, contribute to their community, enjoy and support their family, and more importantly, enjoy life and each other. They shared much and loved living life together. Phyllis lived to the age of 86, passing away on April 29, 2001. Ted carried on alone until his death on April 10, 2014. One of his favorite hymns was One Day at a Time. For one day at a time he had grown to manhood, found the love of his life, Phyllis, at age 7, and spent the next 28,835 days together. Most people would say that is really love and life, with the love of your life.